What is up, everyone? My name is Jacob Joseph, or you may know me on Instagram as JJ Bearded Barber. And this is my boy Mark. My boy Mark E. Hopefully he doesn't follow me one of these days when I'm cutting, because that's a liability. Anyway, hope these videos I'm going to be posting will bring you value, or something new you can learn from me, techniques or whatever it may be. Whether you're a new barber, a barber that's been cutting, that's just looking for new techniques, or if you just like the entertainment of watching barber videos. That's how I got into the industry. My parents do both own a hair salon together, so I've always been involved with hair and been in the industry slightly. But I'll go over those in future videos. All right, so I'm not gonna talk too much. Let's get into the tutorial video. What is good, YouTube? I always wanted to kind of do that. Anyway, today we got a tutorial going on my boy Mizzy Mike. I've been cutting him for quite a while now. We're doing a mid bald fade, no C cup, no arches. So we're going ahead and balding him out with my Gamma trimmers. I like these trimmers a lot, in particular because I feel like they do not put in too harsh of a guideline. A lot of trimmers before, when I would put them in, it'd be kind of hard to take out that bald guideline. I feel like these are very, very forgiving. But anyway, so I'm moving on to the lever open, doing about 1/2 inch to 1 inch guideline. Then I go to my 2 guard to take off bulk, just to clean off the canvas. Now I'm blending into a number 2 guard. He does get a haircut every 2 weeks, so like I said, not too much hair is coming off. Next, I'm doing my 1 guard closed, and I'm taking it up about another 1/2 inch. And I'm using my Oster fast feeds with the double magnetic guards. These are my honestly go-to clippers if I try and bust out a fade pretty quick. These clippers, they just blend smooth, they're very forgiving. It's a slower motor, but I feel like it's very forgiving, and the blend comes out very soft and nice. So after I did the 1 closed, I went over to my 0 guard open and worked the lever down to close. So now I'm blending that into the blade open, the lever open. And now I went back to my 1 guard open and blending that into the 2. I'm gonna be showing this on the other side as well. So if it is a little bit confusing, you'll see the steps again. So first I did lever open, then the 2 to clear off bulk, and then I did the 1 closed, another 1/2 inch up, and went down to my 0 guard and blended into that 1 from my lever open to the 1 closed. Then I went back to my 1 open and blended that into the 2, and now all I have left is that bottom ball guideline that I'm using my clipper closed to open to blend it out. As you can see, I'm just flicking, using the corners a lot. Usually when I'm putting in my ball guideline, or whenever I'm putting in my guidelines, I have the blade flush to the head. But whenever I'm fading, I use more of the heel of the blade, especially with these topazes. They have a little bit of a bevel blade. It's not a fade blade. So I use the heel to fade, and I use the flat part of it to really put my guidelines in, so I know I'm doing, a solid 1 or a solid blade open. Hopefully that makes sense. And now I'm going ahead and I'm balding them out, making sure everything's nice and tight, completely skinned, so you can really see the transition of the fade. Went ahead and sprayed some hairspray on his hair just to hold the hairs in place. Now I'm combing through just to make sure everything's laying flat. And then now I'm lining up with my Gammas with a P3 blade on there, so it's a more modified blade, a little bit sharper. And usually when you're lining up, you do have to go over it multiple times. You gotta, hit it, get your rough draft in, and then comb the hairs down, make sure you got everything laying down flat, and then go ahead and reline it. Now I'm over here detailing a little bit, some, dark spots or some things that I saw. And now while I'm on this side, usually, I'm gonna go ahead and blend the beard in real quick, just to, knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, so I'm not going back and forth and wasting extra time. So I went 1 with the grain, just to kind of lay the hairs down, smooth it up, take some bulk out. Then from where the earlobe is up, I did with a 2 guard, just so I know I'm blending into a 2. And then now I went back to my fast feeds and did blade open, and then closed that. So we got the lever open, halfway open, and then all the way closed. And then now I believe I have the 1 guard on there, which is going to blend into that 2. So I have the blade open, then close it halfway, and then all the way closed. And then I'm going to go ahead and detail right now with the 0 guard, which is the final guard that will bring the blade open all the way to the 1.5. And then I'm going to go ahead and line up the back, keeping it, straight. There's different ways to line up the neck. My client here in particular likes it this way. You could, go straight down. You could kind of go round, just depending on how the clients want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop talking, and I'm going to let you guys see this side and how I blend it out. Another thing is it's a lot of lever play, especially when I'm fading with these topazes. Usually there's 3 separate levers that you're mainly going to go through, which is completely closed, halfway, completely open. That's your main 3 spots where you're going to hit when you're fading. But after that, a lot of it just goes down to detail work. You just want to use the corners. When I say corners, I used to think legit the corner, those first 2 blades, but the corner is really like the first third of the blade. So you got the whole blade, and then you want to use about third to half of the blade, using that very like that side. Not really digging, but having the heel towards the head and flicking out. You want to scrape it off the head and really pick. Same thing as you use scissors, how you point cut to like thin out the hair. You're doing the same thing. Now just finish up with some detail work, just making sure everything's nice and smooth. Sometimes I like to go ahead and, line everything up just so I can kind of see what I need to do more detail in or what's not as smooth. I can see a little bit of dark spots kind of at the earlobe area, and I know I'll go back and touch that up later. Now moving on to the back area, I'm gonna go ahead and bring both sides together. Something I did forget to mention earlier, after I go through my steps and when I'm on that last step where I'm blending out that bald guideline into everything else, I'll show you once it comes. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just run over the steps again. So blade open, about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. 1 guard closed, going up about another 1/2 inch to 1 inch. He likes his fade stretched out because he does like his hair does grow back fast, and he likes it to last the 2 weeks. So this is why I give him a mid bald fade without the C cups, just so it lasts him, up to about that 2 weeks where he'll get another haircut and look fresh again. He doesn't like the grow back because the hair grows back so fast. So this is why I kind of stretch everything out a little bit more, just so it gives him, those extra 2-3 days. So now after that 1 guard I went to the 2. So here's the 2 guard. Go ahead and clean off all that bulk, and now I'm going to go back to my 1 guard open, and that should blend out that line right there. So you can kind of see it going away now. That's because that was from the 1 to the 2. So to get rid of that, you would need 1 open, because with the double magnetic guards, there's only 0 guard, 1 guard, and 2 guard. There's not a half guard that there is on the wall system, or a 1.5 guard. So it makes it a little bit easier. It's a little bit less steps. It's 1 less step, but it just makes a difference. So this is what I forgot to mention. When I'm working on this last part right here, I do blade completely closed, and I go up about a 1/4 inch and really just break that line down. And then after that, I do a lot of detail work. I open the blade up a little bit more, use corners, open all the way, use some more corners. He has a lot of corner work here. But what I really like to do is after I have everything blended out, I just have that ball guide line. I close the clipper all the way, and I just break that front line, go up about 1/4 inch. You got to go up. You can't just sit there and flick at it, because then you'll never take that ball guide line out. So go up a solid 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, depending on how your fade is. And then after that, slowly detail into the blade open. And then I'm balding out again, going all the way up. Sometimes I like to rub the back of my hand on his head to make sure it's completely bald, or if I feel some bump spots, I'll go back over that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the whole fade. Then I'll go back and do some detail work if I see anything. Next, I'm probably gonna move on to the beard. So now we're moving on to the neck part of his beard. What I like to do is look him straight on, put that front line in where I'm gonna meet both sides to. So I go ahead and go in the middle of his face, line that up, go to one side, connect it to the front or to the middle, and then do the same thing on the other side. And then most likely you're gonna have a straight line. Sometimes it'll dip, or something might be a little bit off, which I'll step back, look at it, and see what I need to fix. And then go back over with the shaver, just make sure everything's nice and clean. Don't like to use the razor down there just because time efficiency, and it's only if they really request it. If not, I'm probably gonna go with the shaver, because usually the shaver does get closer and at a faster time. Now I'm just lining up his lip, pretty simple. Comb down the hairs, make sure you just line up and make sure everything's nice and clean. Run the comb through a couple times. You always see me running the comb through, just make sure everything's laid down where it's supposed to be, and then relining. Now I just put some Barber Bond shave serum around where I'm going to line up. And how usually I line up the beard, I stretch with my thumb, and as you see there, I point at the very front of the blade. I'm only using that front blade to really make my line. I don't use the whole blade, because then you can knock down another hair that you might want to keep. So I just really use the very front and point and go all the way down, make a nice straight line into connecting to the mustache. So see, I pull, I'm using that front part, boom, 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 and connecting it to the mustache right there, because that's where his beard's the fullest, and where I could get both sides as symmetrical as I can. And on this side, since I'm going down since it's the opposite side, I'm using the heel of the blade, so the back of the blade. I'm not using the full blade. It may look like I'm using the full blade, but I'm only using that very corner of the back of the blade. And same thing. And then as I go back up, I start to use the front of the blade. And once I get the line kind of already all done, I could use the full blade just to get it all nice and detailed and sharp. And then I'm going to run the comb through and run through it again. I like to have them blow bubble in their cheek, because it makes the surface flat and you can really get a straight line. If you don't, you kind of get that J look in the beard, which I don't think, unless you're trying to connect with the mustache, that may work for that look. But usually, people like their beard nice and straight and crispy, so I like to have them blow their air in their cheek just so I can get a nice flat surface. And then I go ahead and lay them back and go against the grain, just so last them another day or two. Especially, Syrians have very thick beards, Indians have thick beards, so their beards do grow back quickly. So this just, helps them last another day. Now we're going over to the top of the hair, wetting it. His hair is not too long, and he doesn't really do his hair much, so it's not anything crazy with the scissor work. It's pretty much just basic. Make your guideline in the front, travel it all the way to the back, go to the side, do the same thing. So I'm just picking up hair, cutting as I go towards the back, shorter as I go to the back. So I'm just, mainly taking that traveling guide and bringing it all the way to the back and doing that all across the head. And then, just going and double checking my work, make sure it's all even, make sure I got it all nice and even on both sides. And now when I'm going over to that side where the comb over connects with the side, keeping my hands nice and parallel to his head, making sure it's nice and straight. I'm not rounding or anything, I'm keeping it nice and square because I want that square shape. Alright, so now I'm drying up his hair, making sure it's thoroughly dried so that when I do put product in there, it's working its best. I am going to go ahead and use the Tomb 45 Victory Fiber. I do like this product because it has, pretty good shine, good hold. I feel like it suits his hairstyle the best. And I'm going to go after that with my fishtail comb just to make sure it's evenly distributed. I use the wide tooth to give it a nice separation. Now I am enhancing his vertical bars a little bit with the No Drip by Tune 45. This isn't to, cover up a bad haircut or anything like that. You can see the lines were there. The fade is blurry. And just to enhance the lineup, just to make it look a little bit extra crispy. Let him last a couple of days and make the haircut, stand out compared to other haircuts. I am throwing some in the beard a little bit just to cover up that little lighter spot that he has that he's been picking at every week. I keep telling him stop picking at his beard, but he does. And and then I'm going ahead and just hitting it on the vertical bar on this side and did it on the back of his neck. Now I'm just applying some talc on the bottom of the fade just to add that extra transition. And boom, that's the cut. Blurry, looking good. Got him right. Appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you would like me to change. Shout out my cousin Timothy for the beats. And stay tuned for the next one.